Hi everyone, it's Tim Topham here from topmusic.co, and I'm delighted to have Paul and Gillian from Piano Teaching Success here at Piano Pivot Live 2020 in order to record some fantastic interviews with our speakers and give you a bit of a backstage pass. And if you really want to immerse yourself in what Piano Pivot is really like, and if you enjoy this interview, then make sure you grab one of our virtual tickets. The virtual tickets are fully edited professional recordings of our speakers actually on stage doing their thing, live teaching, keynote workshops. And if you want to grab that, head to pianopivotlive.com/virtual. I'll see you there.
Well, welcome back to Piano Pivot Live, and I'm here with Anastasia, or Annie, Buettner-Moore. Hi. And we've just had a session, a fabulous session, Annie. I think you really talked about all the things that that everyone kind of sort of needs to know about, but sometimes goes a little shies away from. Yep. And I think, and what was fabulous, because you've been teaching 10 years, is that you made the point in your presentation that you were kind of not a maths person.
Definitely not. I think I got that clear.
You are kind of more of a language-based person.
Yes.
Instead of not even being a maths person, you were kind of a maths avoidance person.
Yes. Escapee.
Yes. And what was it that made you go, oopsie, I think I got to kind of get a bit more serious about this stuff?
Well,
we're talking about the finances, measuring your statistics, measuring your students, measuring things, how are you going, that kind of stuff, just so that they understand what we're doing.
Yeah, I suppose there are a couple of little things going on. At a reasonably early age, I decided that I wanted to buy a house. My partner and I, we were on a mission to do that. He works a real job, as he likes to keep saying. He's a geologist. He's about as musical as a rock, bless him. But, he was earning a lot more than me at the time, and he managed to buy our first house on his own accord. And I contributed to that. However, the next house we wanted to contribute a little more to that, I suppose, and we just sort of upped our standards a little bit. So that made me really introspect and go, what do I need to do to bring my income to a level that meets that goal? Mm-hmm. That was my primary driver at the time, which made me seek out some coaching and just do some introspection and some soul searching and just work out exactly how I was going to get there.
Can you tell the credit card story?
The credit card story.
Because I think many people might be able to kind of, identify with that one.
Oh, well, so the credit card story, as I mentioned in my talk earlier, was that, the first time I ever went to apply for a credit card, which was pretty much for the sole purpose of renovating our house once we actually bought it.
All right.
Because we had some fairly big expenses incurred there, and sometimes it just wasn't feasible to do it any other way. However, the first time I ever walked into a bank and asked for a credit card, they profiled me and they asked me, "So Anastasia, how much do you make on average per year?" And I just looked at them and said, "I don't know." I don't actually know. But it's okay because I'm never in debt. All my bills are paid on time, and that's absolutely
You just didn't
fine.
know. You weren't paying attention.
I literally didn't know. Couldn't tell you for the life of me. So anyway, they said, you have to go and look at your reports, darling, and go work that out, and then we'll talk to you again. So I did that, and it was fine.
And cycled into, and I don't know what came first, you getting coaching or when you were, they started asking you those sorts of questions, didn't they?
Yes, as soon as one of the first questions my coach asked me was, how many hours are you teaching per week? And it was a similar response to the lady in the bank. But I was just brutally honest, and just being asked that question was really useful in making me aware of the fact that I didn't know these things.
Yes.
And as a business owner, I probably should.
Yes.
So it just it gave me some direction about what to track.
Well, more power to you that you sucked it up and actually did it. You
Yeah.
know, so many times, sometimes it's just easier to kind of sweep it under the carpet and go teach another student.
Yeah, that's often the way.
Yes,
but that's not confronting what you need to do.
Well, no, and I think you were saying one of the points you made in the beginning, that you can end up teaching all the time. It sort of gets out of control. You teach so much, because you teach so much, you feel exhausted and deflated, and then you lose some passion for the thing you're always so passionate about. And it's about being deliberate, about going about starting to design what you want.
Absolutely.
And gosh, that was just such a presentation, so jam-packed. Please do catch this one on your e-ticket. Just jam-packed full of points. and you took us through a many little sort of step program about designing your own studio. Why do you think it's important to start there?
Because you need to define it, and a lot of people make decisions based on where they are now, and not necessarily, that might not be the ultimate goal. It might have been something that they fell into, or they're just trying to survive.
Yes.
And they
I think
don't
many
see a way
people are
out
in
of it.
that mode.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the best thing with whenever you're trying to set any goal is just completely scrap where you're at now, so to speak, and start from the premise of what do I actually want.
Yes.
Because
and sometimes that's not the easiest. You think, yeah, that'll be an easy question to answer, and then you start doing it and you're thinking, what do I want?
Yeah, exactly, because we're just accustomed to doing what we've always been doing. We're creatures of habit, and building habits that are contradictory to that is quite a challenge.
And for each of us, that's going to be could be so very, very different. For you, you don't have. Do you have children?
Not yet.
No children. So you're in that kind of building my base,
yes.
building my houses and all the rest of it thing. So that income and hours taught and everything, and balancing your life with your partner was really, really important to you. Some people might be mums at home and they're just doing this in a little bit of time, so their goals might be quite different, and that's okay because their goals are their goals.
Yes,
it's about being really probably deliberate. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely deliberate and clear on exactly what you want.
Yes, and trying to sort of almost step out of where you are, kind of almost put that in the background, perhaps.
Yes, and see yourself from an observer's perspective, which is quite hard to do sometimes.
Yes, yes. And I think then you encouraged us. What was step 2 in that then?
Step 2 in that, well, obviously writing it down.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Yes. No, step 2 of that was, doing a bit of a grand calculation and seeing how many hours realistically I would need to be putting in a week to reach the number that I had defined at the time. And then looking at that and going, I don't know if I really want to teach that many hours, so I better get another teacher on board to help me out with this.
I think one of the really great points you made, it was one of the points on the slides in designing your future, is what is the number that you want to take home? What is the paycheck? What does that look like? What is your annual income or your monthly income or however term income?
You define it, yeah.
However you define it. And start there and then start to see whether that informs some of the other things, or even the type of lessons. And you went into a whole series of things which would be really great just to do. That's a really great presentation to do as a bit of a workshop, actually, and stop the video, pause, and actually write those things.
Absolutely.
I think. So to see where the gaps, you talk about discovering where the gaps are from where you are now to where you really want to be.
And you might be lucky that gap might not be huge. It might be quite small indeed, and you go, I don't have much further to go. However, if you're in that boat, then it might show you that you need to define a bigger goal. It's completely up to you.
Rinse and repeat, I think you said.
Rinse and repeat, exactly. Just do it on a bigger scale.
Yes.
And if we're not growing, we're not learning, then we're dying, we're boring. So we
So you have a very big personal development person yourself. You have 2 mentors.
Yes.
And you do other professional development. You're part of Tim's Inner Circle and that kind of thing. What is the best advice you've been given?
The best advice I've been given? In what sort of context?
Just in having your ideal life.
In having the ideal life. Just define it. It always comes back to definition. Just define what you want. Yeah.
I think there was also that point that it's not just about how much you work, but also the balance stuff, the life balance. And you had that real fabulous worksheet about where are you in all of these aspects in your life.
Yeah, the wellness wheel.
And I really love the way that you had a piece of... You have
those.
Yeah. What a great idea.
Yeah.
We've done that as well, but we've used a pen. But I think the old BlueTEC is really good because, as you say, you can just move that and think, oh no, that wasn't so good now.
Well, because it's constantly fluctuating.
Yes, it is.
Nothing in life is fixed, which is part of the fun part. But it's very easy to just sort of reflect and move it around and see where you're at that particular moment in time. It's like a snapshot of your life. It's a life photograph, so to speak.
And you also gave us in the freebies a download where we could actually map out and just take stock for a week about what we do in a week.
Yes.
Because some of my mentors also profess just the same thing. And I love your little device that you've got. You also mentioned
it.
Very good. But sometimes we don't realise how much time we either waste,
Yes.
how much time we actually spend doing certain stuff. And it's you only have to do it for a week.
Exactly. And that's enough to show you a whole world of what what your habits are.
Yeah.
It's very revealing.
It is. Sometimes.
A little too revealing sometimes, yeah. But, you know,
Exactly.
confront it.
So, what would you hope that everyone got out of today, your session?
I hope that everyone has found something that resonates with them. They can see if there's a particular shortfall that they are not measuring that they perhaps should be to get them to where they want to go, whatever that might be.
Yeah. How long did it take you once you decided that I better get on track with this, or I better start with this? Because you can't do this in a week.
Definitely not.
So how long did it take you to really, from the time you started, because you did build your business, because I think you said you had 25 students when you started to implement all of this stuff. You had 25 students, and with less than 6 months you had 75 students because you were very deliberate. But there would have been a lot of
stuff before that. Absolutely, yes. No, probably at least a good year or two, you know.
Yes.
Not to mention just some of the other little things I'd done previously in my life that I hadn't really realised were relevant, like little courses on the side.
Yes.
However, suddenly taking some of this other coaching and courses, it just kind of connected the dots. It's like someone plugged the power into my brain, and I went, oh, that's what I've got to do. Like, it just made it a little more relevant. So, a year or two.
So it's not to be discouraged thinking that you've got to get it all and that you're really bad and you should have it all happening and you better do it by next week.
No,
because it is a journey, isn't it? This
Absolutely.
type of thing.
It's all about the journey.
And it does take some time. Well, you've been truly inspirational. I thoroughly enjoyed your session.
I'm so glad.
And thank you for talking to us, and please catch this on the e-ticket.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.